Okay, let's begin the session. We'll begin the session with the chanting of the pranam mantras in general. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guruho Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangam Langhayate Girim Yadkripa Tamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Harihi Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna. So, requesting Avaicharan Prabhu to post today's agenda so that we can all have a look once more.
Yes, Prabhuji, I'm posting.
Okay. Till then, I'm also posting something somewhere. Okay. So very, very welcome to Aditya Ramesh, Ashish Rena Prabhuji, Ashwin Kannan, Chaitanya Sairam, and Kunal Mewada. You people are the most sincere people. Today's agenda is Kirtan, Srila Prabhupada's lecture group hearing, reading second chance, and Q&A and chanting of one round of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and then some announcements. So as discussed in the previous session, this sessions we will not do Srila Prabhupada's lecture group hearing. We will take it alternatively. In one session we will do a lecture hearing, in one session we will do book reading, things like that. So today we will do book reading. So let's begin with that. We are reading the second chance. I will share my screen. We were still in the first chapter. Okay. Anybody remembers any one point also what we have studied till now? Just to revise some points. I know it has been a long time, but let's try to recollect. We studied about the law of consequences. We saw degradation of the modern society. We saw dangers of illicit sex. Anybody wants to recollect what we just read? We also read the introduction.
One point, Prabhuji, I would like to say that is that you cannot cheat Bhagavan. You cannot fool him. So and in every kan there is a Bhagavan, and there is nothing which I mean which, without his willingness or without his approval, nothing can be done, and no, not even a leaf can move without the permission or without the without his permission.
Okay. Any other point which was there in this chapter? Separating men from the animals. Okay, no problem. We will continue. How many of you want to read this again? Please raise your hand because it has been a long time. Or if you want us to continue just the point where we left. If you want to read this again, please raise your hand. Okay, only one person. Okay, and how many of you want us to continue from where we left? Please raise your hand. Raising your hand means, yeah, electronically you have to raise your hand. Okay, again, only one person. What about others? How many of you don't want to read this? Please raise your hand. Okay. Okay, then I will decide. We will continue from where we left. I'll just read this point. Shukdev Goswami said to King Parikshit, in a city known as Kanya Kubja, Kanauj, the present day India, there lived a Brahmana named Ajamil who married a prostitute maid servant and lost all his Brahminical qualities because of the association of a low class woman. Ajamil gave trouble to others by arresting them, by cheating them in gambling, or by directly plundering them. This was the way he earned his livelihood and maintained his wife and children. Srimad Bhagavatam, 6th canto, chapter 1, shloka 21 to 22. So we read this law of consequences. We read the dangers of illicit sex. The second part of this was spending, degradation of modern society. So we will read that today. Okay. Here, the Srimad Bhagavatam says that the Brahmana, okay, degradation of the modern society. Here, the Srimad Bhagavatam says that the Brahmana, Ajamil, became attached to a prostitute and thus lost his Brahminical qualifications. He was a young man of about 20 when this happened. Because of his illicit association with the prostitute, Ajamil was forced to live by begging, borrowing, stealing, and gambling. So this is what happens when you engage in relationship with a prostitute or when you engage in illicit relationships outside your marriage. Even within marriage, if somebody is overindulging with their wife, again the same thing will happen. They'll be forced to live by begging, borrowing, stealing, and gambling. The point which we are trying to make here is, first of all, having any kind of a sexual union or a sexual contact with anybody whom you are not married to is the biggest possible madness. Forget about sin or forget about the suffering which will come after death. Even in this life, one will become crazy and mad. That is called as illicit sex life. Now, even we have to understand this point. Generally, parents don't teach them these things to their children these days. Marriage is also not a license for unlimited sex life. I'm married to my wife, so with my wife, I will have unlimited sex. No. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, I am sex life, which is as per the religious principles. Religious principles means at least 50 years ago in India, this was prevalent. And earlier, this was the culture. That if a husband and wife would want children, then they will approach their spiritual master and they would take permission. And the spiritual master will give permission. Okay, go ahead. You have my blessings. And then they will do something called as a Garbhadan Sanskar. Garbhadan Sanskar means some processes are done, some samskaras are done, some, you can say, yagyas are done, rituals are done. All the saintly people are invited at home. They are fed very nicely, charity is given, blessings is taken, and the whole village or the whole society knows that yes, Garbhadan Sanskar is happening. That means this couple will try to get a child. There is no secret. That is why earlier the son of a great king used to be a great king. The son of a great Brahmana used to be a great Brahmana. Because when you do the Garbhadan Samskar and in that purified consciousness, by the proper religious principles, when you beget a child, then the consciousness which a husband and a wife has during the time of conceiving attracts the right kind of soul in the womb of the mother through the semen of the father. This is the science. This is a great science. People have forgotten this. Nowadays, most of the children are born out of accident. That is the problem. That is why such low class people, the son of the Chief Justice of India is a thief. Why? Because all these Garbhadan Samskaras were not done. So this is called as illicit. Any kind of union with the opposite gender without this Garbhadan Samskar is called illicit. That is why the Bhagavatam says, Kalau Shudra Sambhavaha. In Kali Yuga, everybody is a Shudra. That person who is born without Garbhadan Samskar is a Shudra. Brahmanas, Kshatriyas and Vaishyas, they are born after Garbhadan Samskar. Anybody who is born simply out of lusty sense gratification is called as a Shudra. So in Kali Yuga, everybody is a Shudra because nobody performs Garbhadan Samskar. If you will ever meet someone who has been begotten by proper Garbhadan Samskaras, you will come to know the value of this Garbhadan Samskar. I have met few people. They are of a different category completely. Anyways, moving on, we'll read second paragraph. These verses indicate how degraded one becomes simply by indulging in illicit sex with a prostitute. Illicit sex is not possible with chaste women, but only with unchaste women. Please take note of this point. The more the society allows prostitution and illicit sex, the more impetus it gives to cheaters, thieves, plunderers, drunkards, and gamblers. Now, moving on, reading further. Therefore, we first advise all our disciples in Krishna consciousness movement to avoid illicit sex, which is the beginning of all abominable life and which is followed by meat eating, gambling, intoxication, one after another. A person who is engaged in illicit sex will also eat meat, will also gamble, will also intoxicate. Of course, restraint is difficult, but it is quite possible if one fully surrenders to Krishna. Since all abominable habits gradually become distasteful for a Krishna conscious person. This is the point here. All abominable things gradually become distasteful for a Krishna conscious person. That means anybody who surrenders to Krishna gets a higher taste. Param drishtva nivartate. There is a very, very nice verse. Vishya vinavartante niraharasya dehinam rasavarjam rasopyasya param drishtva nivartate. I'm just trying to open that verse. Param drishtva Bhagavad Gita 2.59. I want this to open in. Vishya vinivartante niraharasya dehinah rasavarjam rasopyasya param drishtva nivartate. Please listen. Though the embodied soul may be restricted from sense enjoyment, the taste of sense enjoyment objects remains. But seizing such engagements by experiencing a higher taste, he is fixed in consciousness. I mean to say, I may be trying to give up something, and the taste of that thing may even remain in me. But still, I should continue to try to give up that thing. And how is it possible? If I simply keep trying to give up that thing, I will not be able to give up. However, if I engage myself in the service of Krishna and the devotees of Krishna, that means I find some other engagement. apart from this stupid engagement which I had earlier. And then in the Krishna conscious engagement, when I will experience a higher taste, then when I get the higher taste, I will never look upon the lower taste. This is the process of giving up things. So I will post this verse here, just in case if refer it later. Okay. So this is how, when you get a higher taste, you are able to give up a lower taste. Please remember, until you get a higher taste, it is not possible to get a lower taste. And that higher taste is chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. That higher taste is eating prasad. That higher taste is associating with devotees, which all of you and all of us are doing every Saturday. And that higher taste is reading the Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. Presently, we are reading Bhagavatam. These four activities, A, B, C, D, association, Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, chanting and diet, is the reason or is the way in which we can give up the lower taste. While in his time, Ajamil was an exception, in the present age, there are millions of Ajamils. But if illicit sex is allowed to increase, the entire society will become condemned. It will be full of rogues, thieves, cheaters, and so forth. Now, in the name of modernization, in the name of copying the Western culture, in the name of advancement, in the name of freedom, this illicit sex has been promoted to a huge degree in India, at least in the last 25 to 30 years. Earlier, this was not the case in India. But now it has become very common, because people think that when men and women will mix very freely, that is modern, that is advancement of culture. But the result you see, the society will be full of rogues, thieves, cheaters, and so forth. You go to the New York City, every minute some theft or dacoity is happening, somebody is dying, somebody is being murdered. So much crime is there. And they call it as an advanced city. Now, slowly in the small cities and small towns of India also, this illicit sex is coming thanks to internet and television. So there are full of rogues, thieves, and cheaters in small towns also now. This is the purpose. If you go to any place and if you feel that there is a lot of crime, immediately you should understand there is a lot of illicit sex happening here. Also, you should understand that Krishna consciousness is not there. So if you are a little stable in your sadhana, you should stay in that city or town and start preaching. Do a Bhagavatam or a Bhagavad Gita program, distribute prasad, go on Harinam Sankirtan, distribute books. However, if you are not very stable in your sadhana, run away from that place. Don't stay in such a place. But I would say that even if you are not stable in your sadhana, if you start preaching the science of Krishna consciousness to others, Lord Chaitanya or Krishna gives you special strength to tolerate anything and everything. Moving on. Therefore, if we actually want to improve the world situation, we have to take to Krishna consciousness, as that gives the best service to the human society, both materially and spiritually. Very important point. Whatever abominable characteristics we have developed, we have only to take the process of bhakti yoga or devotional service in order to completely eradicate them. We have developed so many anarthas or unwanted habits, the chief of which are meat eating, intoxication, illicit sex, and gambling. But we can curb them by accepting the principles of bhakti yoga as they are presented in the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. Scarcely anyone knows these Vedic scriptures, and therefore no one heeds their instructions. People would rather read all kinds of books by all kinds of rascals, but the result of such books is to kill Krishna consciousness. This is a fact. Nobody has time to read Bhagavad Gita. This book marathon going on, we are trying to distribute. People say, I don't have time. But everybody reads novels, everybody reads newspapers, everybody spends hours and hours on the news channels. What have they ever got out of these books or papers or channels? Now, before going to the next paragraph, I would like to invite all of you to speak on one point, one very nice point which we read. Whatever abominable characteristics we have developed, we have to take only to the process of bhakti yoga or devotional service in order to completely eradicate them. I will invite all of you to lecture or speak for 1 minute on this point, whatever you have understood. This is the line. What do you understand when Prabhupada says this? Whatever abominable characteristics we have developed, we have to only take to the process of bhakti, yoga, or devotional service in order to completely eradicate them. What does this mean? Would someone like to speak up? We start with, Kunal is ready to speak. Kunal Prabhu, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So what this point is mentioned is a very very practical point over here. And nowadays in present society, people think illicit sex become very casual stuff. People are think it's sometimes people used to think like yeah, sometimes it's to flaunt in the society, like okay, yeah, people are having so many girlfriends and boyfriends, and illicits become very like it's kind of a show of stuff, and it's very casual thing among the people. But they don't understand like nowhere they go, they in any aspect of life they cannot grow or they cannot achieve the success by doing all this nonsense stuff. So yeah,
Okay, you are speaking on illicit sex, that's good. But
yeah,
the point which I'm asking you to speak is, yeah, whatever bad habits we have, if we only
yeah.
practice bhakti yoga, we will.
Yes, absolutely, Prabhuji. We need to completely surrender to the God. As we must, I would say we must surrender to the God for all these things. I would not say like we should follow all these things. Yeah, we must surrender to the God. And we need to do all this like you have mentioned ABCD thing. So obviously we need to have the association of the good people like the devotees of Krishna. And the second thing, obviously we must read the Bhagavad Gita and every single thing. That's the only where we can focus or concentrate our mind to not to go in all the way around and all these things. So this all nonsense ruckus will not happen. This nonsense thought will not come to our mind.
Very
So
good.
and chanting is very much very must, I would say, because yeah, by the time you will do, you'll start reflecting in your thought like yeah, how we need to progress in Krishna consciousness. And obviously diet also, we need to have the diet as per the God says. I don't recollect the words, but somewhere in the 6th chapter God says uh, what one who eat very much and one who sleeps very much cannot become my bhakt, and one who eat very less uh, and sleep very less, they cannot also become my bhakt. So it's the, we can consider the how we can manage ourselves. So that's the only thing I want to tell over here on this part.
Very good. Thank you.
Yeah.
I now request Aditya Prabhu to speak up. Aditya Prabhu, what do you feel that by practicing bhakti yoga, we will be able to give up all the abominable characteristics which we have developed? Aditya Ramesh, are you there? Okay, then we will hear from Ashwin Kannan Prabhuji. What do you think? By practicing bhakti yoga, we will be able to completely eradicate or partially eradicate? What do you think? The bad habits?
Hello, am I audible? Hare Krishna.
Yes, Ashwin Prabhu, you are very much audible.
So I agree. I completely agree to your point. In addition, I'd like to say that feeling of lust and feeling to do any illicit activities is in the mind. So two things I'd like to add is in this regard to this art of mind control concepts and classes play a very important role. And secondly, association with devotees is even more important. If I am alone, if I think that I can myself can read the Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, all spiritual books, and try to achieve all these things. It may be possible, but the association with good devotees will make this process far more simpler, and it will act as an impetus in getting rid of all filthy thoughts. Is my opinion.
Very good. So basically, you're trying to say Bhakti Yoga is possible and easy in devotee association. Very good point. Thank you, Ashwin Prabhu. Ashwin Prabhu, you also had some question which you had asked me. Would you like to put it now?
I had actually asked you like two questions if you remember, like one regarding Gayatri Putra also. I don't think it is relevant at this moment, but if you're going to have another Q&A at the end, maybe at that time I
Okay.
can put it
Okay.
across.
Okay. Then I would like to invite who has not yet spoken. Okay. Everybody has left also the call. Okay, Kunal spoke. Chaitanya Sairam has spoken. Chaitanya Sairam, would you like to speak up?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hari Hari.
Yeah, we all are having some bad kind of habits. Like, actually, we are speaking bad, we are eating bad. Everything is bad. So many people are having lusty feelings. So when we started Bhakti Yoga, then we can forget each and everything like bad things, eating meat, lusty feelings and all. It's a kind of respect towards God. If you respect the God, means you can easily give up on this bad habits.
Very
So
good.
that
Very good. Basically, what Chaitanya Sairams tried to say, Krishna is all pure. Association with name, form, qualities, pastimes, and devotees of Krishna makes one all. Krishna is all pure. Association with name, form, qualities, and pastimes, and devotees of Krishna also makes one all pure. Is this what you wanted to say, Chaitanya Sairam, if I have got you right?
yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, very good. Consistency is also very important in Bhakti Yoga. Yes, definitely. If you one day you're chanting 4 rounds, other day you're chanting 0 rounds, so we'll not be able to make any progress in that way. Okay, so Ashish Rena Prabhu, have you already spoken on this point?
No, Prabhu, no, Prabhu, I haven't spoken yet. Actually, yeah. So actually, Prabhu, I'm in the middle of a street, but I'm like somehow I'm trying to manage.
No problem. You just speak, tell me one point and go on mute.
Yeah, Prabhu. So what I understood from this today's session is that wherever there is crime, okay, the increasing crime rate and increasing the wrong thing that we see around us is somehow relatively related to illicit sex. So we should avoid doing that by practicing Krishna consciousness and to be in association with all the other Krishna conscious people in order to cure ourselves and in order to avoid this madness that we all are doing.
Thank you. Very good. Basically, Prabhuji has tried to say Krishna consciousness saves us from becoming crazy. I hope none of us want to be crazy. Okay. Ajit LV Prabhu has recently joined. Ajit LV Prabhu, thank you very much for joining. You did a night shift. You did yesterday, you were working in the day and then you worked whole night. Still, you have been able to join the session. Very much. Hare Krishna. Ashish Rena Prabhu has spoken. Ashwin Kannun Prabhu has spoken. Chaitanya Sairam has spoken. Kunal Mewade has spoken. Only Aditya Ramesh has not spoken. Aditya Ramesh Prabhu, is it possible for you to speak? Are you facing too many technical issues? Okay, looks like some problem. No problem. We will read further. I will share my screen again. Okay, in illusion, a person may think he can get rid of unwanted habits simply by some artificial mystic meditation. And in fact, at one time, it was possible to attain liberation by practicing Ashtanga Yoga or Eightfold Yogic Meditation. But at present, no one can follow this process, and artificial attempts at yoga will not help us. Why? Because our lifespan is only 60 years, 70 years, 80 years maximum. In this, nobody can do any Ashtanga Yoga or any other mystic meditation. Therefore, to help the fallen people of the age of Kali, Supreme Lord appeared 500 years ago as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He knew that the people of this age would not be able to follow the regulative principles, what to speak of practicing Ashtanga Yoga. Therefore, he gave the Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, so that we can gradually be elevated to the highest position of spiritual life. Point to be noted, by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, we will gradually be elevated to the highest position in spiritual life. Other processes of purification or sacrifice cannot be followed in this age because, for the most part, people are too degraded. But anyone may take to this process of chanting Hare Krishna as it is said in the Brihad Naradiya Purana 3.8.126. Harer Nama, Harer Nama, Harer Nama Eva Kevalam. Kalau nastyeva 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 gatiranyatha. In this age of quarrel and hypocrisy, the only means of deliverance is chanting the holy names of the Lord. There is no other way, there is no other way, there is no other way. Why is it being told 3 times? Nastyeva, nastyeva, nastyeva gatiranyatha? Because Brihad Naradiya Puran knows that the people of Kali Yuga are idiots. If we tell them there is no other way, they'll not understand. If we tell them there is no other way, there is no other way, they'll not understand. But if we tell them 3 times, there is no other way, there is no other way, there is no other way, then maybe they will understand. So that is why it is said, Harer Nama, Harer Nama, Harer Nama eva kevalam, kalau nastyeva, nastyeva, nastyeva gatiranatha. Even after this, if somebody is not understanding, they are idiots. Chanting the holy name of the Lord is always superbly effective, but it is especially effective in the age of Kali. It is not that in the age of Satyuga, when the Yuga Dharma was meditation, holy name was not effective. No, it was superbly effective in that time also. But people had an option. Either you can chant or you can do meditation. But in Kali Yuga, nobody has any option also. People like Narad Muni, they don't do any meditation at all. Always, whether it is Satyuga or Dwapar, Treta or Kali, whatever it is, always they are chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare. In practical effectiveness, its practical effectiveness will now be explained by Shukdev Goswami through the history of Ajamil, who was freed from the hands of Yamaraj, the universal judge, simply because of chanting the holy name of Narayan. So we will go to the next chapter now. Give me a moment. Somebody is calling. Okay, call got cut. In imitation of the original. This is chapter number 2. Shukdev Goswami continued, my dear king, 88 years of his life passed by while Ajamil thus spent his time in abominable sinful activities to maintain his family of 10 sons and the prostitute. The youngest child was a baby named Narayan, who was naturally very dear to his father and mother. Please take note how lusty this Ajamil was. Although he was a nice Brahmana, he was a young Brahmana following all regulative principles. He had a beautiful wife, he has parents, but he fell in the lusty trap of a prostitute, and he threw his wife out, threw his parents out, and now he's how many years? 88 years old, and he has a young son. That means you can just imagine, even in the age of 80 plus, he is involved in having sexual union with his prostitute wife to get a child. So just imagine how lusty he was. The lusty desire is still there. Now, parental affection. In this chapter, we will read about parental affection, spiritual affection and variety, spiritual forms and spiritual pastimes, absolute truth, full knowledge. Let's see if we can complete this. I don't think we can complete this. Parental affection. Would someone like to read?
Yeah, Prabhuji, I can read if you want.
Okay, please read that.
Okay. Parental affection. Ajamil's sinfulness is shown by the fact that although he was 88-year-old.
Hare Krishna, one second. Kunal Prabhu, you continue to read this parental affection.
Okay.
A very, very important guest has come. There is nobody
Okay.
in the temple to attend to. I will be back in 5 to 10 minutes. If I'm not back, then the next person should start reading spiritual affection and variety. I will come and I'll explain both of them. Okay?
Okay. Okay.
Kunal,
So,
please continue reading. Parental.
yeah. Okay, I am reading from very beginning again. Ajamil's sinfulness.
One second, Kunal Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
I will
Yeah.
make you the co-host so that you can also share the screen.
Okay.
Read. Or else, here is the chat section. I will post it in the
You
chat.
just give me the control, Prabhuji, of your screen. I'll manage.
Okay.
Yeah.
Make you the co-host. You cannot have the control of my screen. This is Zoom works a little differently. However, I have given you the chat link. Sorry, the chapter link. You can open it, share your screen, and show your screen also.
Okay. I'll do that. Let me share my screen. I hope you can see my screen. Yes, no.
Yes,
Anyone
Prabhuji.
can? Okay, thank you. Thank you, everyone. So we'll start from parental affection. Jamil's sinfulness is shown by the fact that although he was 88-year-old, he had a very young child. According to Vedic culture, one should leave home as soon as he has reached 50 years of age. One should not live at the home and go on producing children. Sex is allowed for 25 years between the ages of 25 and 50. After that, one should give up the habit of sex and leave home as a vanaprastha and then properly take a sannyasa. Ajamila, however, because of his association with prostitute, lost all his Brahminical culture and became most sinful, even in his so-called household life. Ajamil was a young man of 20 when he met the prostitute, and he begot 10 children in her. When he was almost 90-year-old, the time came when he was to die. At that time, most of his children were grown up, so naturally, the youngest child, Narayana, became his parents' favorite. Ajamila was very much attached to him. A baby's smile immediately attracts the father, mother, and relatives. When the child begins to talk, making sounds in a broken language, it is very joyful for the parent. Unless his attraction is there, it is not possible to raise the child with affection. Parental affection is natural even among the animal species. In Kanpur, a monkey once came up with her baby near the room where we were staying. The baby monkey entered the window through the bars, and the mother became very upset. She became mad with anxiety. Somehow or other, we pushed the baby monkey out of the bar, and immediately the mother embraced the baby and took it away with her. In human society, the affection between a mother and her child is very much eulogized, but as we see, this relationship is very is visible even among the animal. Therefore, it is not an outstanding qualification. It is material nature's law. Unless the mother and child are affectionately connected, it is not possible for the child to grow up. Parental affection is natural and necessary, but it does not raise one to the spiritual platform. The character of a debauchee Ajamil was abominable, but he was still very affectionate toward his youngest child. Although Ajamila was nearly 90, he was still enjoying the child's playful pastime, just as Maharaja Nanda and Mother Yasoda enjoyed the childhood pastime of Lord Krishna. Uh, shall I continue reading? Yes, no, other people can say. Abhyacharan Prabhu, shall I continue?
Maybe you can give chance to Ashwin Prabhu, possible?
Yeah, I can give, no
Let him,
worries.
yeah, let him read and you can scroll down.
Yeah. Okay, Ashwin Prabhu, you are there. He's on mute, I think.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, uh,
Okay, maybe Ashish Rena Prabhu can read. Ashish Prabhu, can you read?
shall I continue?
Yeah, yeah, it but might be some there might be some background noise. So
Okay,
No
ठीक है,
worries,
let,
Ashish Prabhu. Then I'll only continue.
yeah, let Kunal Prabhu
Okay.
continue.
Yeah. Yeah.
Prabhu.
So this paragraph will going to read spiritual affection and variety. Parental affection in this material world is a perverted reflection of parental affection in the spiritual world, where it is found in its pure original form. Everything originates with the transcendental reality as stated in the Vedanta Sutra 112. Uh, Janmedi Asya Yatat. The supreme absolute truth is that from which everything emanates. If the affection between a child and his parent did not exist in absolute truth, it could not exist in the material world. Since the absolute truth is the source of everything, whatever variety we see here in this material world are simply reflection of varieties in the spiritual world. If absolute truth were without variety, then where have all these varieties come from? No, the absolute truth is not impersonal, nirakara, or without a variety, nirvaishya. Still, some person called Mayavadis are so disappointed and frustrated with the imperfect varieties of material of this material world that they imagine the spiritual world to be in person and without variety. These impersonalists realize that they are Brahmins or spiritual spirit, but they do not know that they are innumerable planet in the Brahma Jyoti or the spiritual atmosphere. They think that the Brahma Jyoti itself is all in all. Impersonalists have no information of, of the Vaikuntha planet, and due to their imperfect knowledge, they can come down to this material planet. As said in Srimad Bhagavatam chapter 10, second canto 32 verse. ये नए रवि दक्ष विमुक्ता मनीषास तव्य अस्त भगवत असि अविसुधा बुद्धिनायाय अरुहया कृष्णेह कृष्णेह परम पदम ततः पतन्ति अधो न नद्रता यस्मद अनुग्रह. Although impersonalists are almost liberated still on account of their negligence of the lotus feet of Krishna, their intelligence is not yet purified. Thus, despite performing severe austerities to rise up to the platform of Brahmin, they must fall down again to this materialist world, to material world. The spiritual form and spiritual pastimes. The impersonalist philosopher cannot differentiate between the activities in the material world and the similar activities in the spiritual world, nor do they differentiate between the material form and God's form. They are convinced that the impersonal Brahma Jyoti and spiritual uh, effulgence emanating from the Lord's body as the supreme absolute truth. The Mayavadis mistakenly assume that when God appears, he accepts the material body just as we have taken this material form in the material world. That kind of thinking is impersonalism or Mayavad philosophy. God has a form, but not a material form like ours. His form is Sachinananda Vigraha, Brahma Sahita 5.1. A spiritual form full of eternity, bliss, and knowledge. Anyone who understands the transcendental nature of Krishna's form achieve the perfection. This confirms in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, ninth verse. Janma karma cha meva divyam avam yo veti tatvatah त्या त्यक्त्वा देहं पुनर्जन्म नैतिमम इति अर्जुन. When I come, when I come, I do not accept a material body. My birth and activities are completely spiritual, and anyone who perfectly understands this is liberated. When Krishna displayed himself as the perfect child before Mother Yasoda, he would break everything when she did not supply him with butter, as if he were in need of butter, so God can display him exactly like an ordinary human being, yet he remains the supreme personality of Godhead. Impersonalists cannot know God because they see him as an ordinary man, that is rascaldom, uh, as uh, as Krishna declares in the Bhagavad Gita chapter 9 11 sloka verse. Avajanti mama mudaha. Only rascal accept me as an ordinary human being. The Mayavadis says, oh, here is a child. How can he be God? Even Brahma and Indra become bewildered. They thought, how can this boy be the supreme Lord? Let me test him. Sometimes a so-called incarnation of God declares, I am God. He should be tested to determine whether or not he is actually God. The Mayavadis are claiming, I am the God, I am Krishna, I am Rama. Everyone become Krishna, everyone become Rama, yet people do not challenge their claims. If you are Rama, exhibit your supreme potency. Rama constructed a bridge over the Indian Ocean. What have you done? At the age of 7, Krishna lifted Govardhan Hill. What you have done? When they are challenged by Krishna pastime, these rascals say it is all fiction. It is all legend. Therefore, people accept an ordinary person as a Ram or Krishna. This nonsense is going on. Both those who declare themselves to be God, those who accept them as a God will have to suffer for it. Anyone can claim to be God, and any foolish person can accept, but no one will benefit by the serving a false god. Once Lord Brahma thought that Krishna might also be such a false god, he observed that a mere boy in Vrindavan, India, was accepted as Supreme Lord and that he was performing extraordinary activities. So Brahma decided to make a test. He took away all Krishna's caves and playmates and hid them. When Brahma returned to Vrindavan after 1 year, saw same cows and playmates still there. He could understand that Krishna had expanded himself by his unlimited potency into so many cows and boy. The boy's own mothers could not detect their son were Krishna's expansion, though the mother could not explain why every evening when their boy returned home from the field, their affection from the increased more and more. Finally, Brahma surrendered to Krishna, composing a very nice prayer in glorification of the Lord. Similarly, Indra became bewildered when Krishna told his father Nanda Maharaj there is no need of performing sacrifices to Indra because he is under the order of the Supreme Lord. Krishna did not say to Nanda Maharaj, I am the Supreme Lord, but he said Indra is under the order of Supreme Lord. Therefore, he has to supply you with water. So there is no need to performing this yajna sacrifice to him. When the sacrifice to Indra was stopped, he became furious and tried to punish the inhabitant of Vrindavan by sending incense torrent of rain for 7 days. Vrindavan was nearly drowned in water, so great was downpour. But Krishna, a child of about 7 years, immediately lifted Govardhan hill and invited all the residents of Vrindavan together with their animal to take shelter underneath the hill. Krishna held up the hill for 7 days and day and nights without taking any food or rest, just to protect the resident of Vrindavan. Thus, Indra understood that Krishna was the supreme personality of Godhead. In this way, the Srimad Bhagavatam wants if even the great personality like Brahma and Indra can sometimes become bewildered by Maya, the external manifestation of Krishna's energy, and then what to speak of us. So God sometimes display himself as God and sometimes as a human being, but the rascal personalist dismiss his pastime as a legend or mythology. Either they do not believe in the Shastras or they interpret them in their own way using Ardha Kukuti Naya, the logic of half a hen. Once a man kept a hen and delivered a golden egg every day. The foolish man thought it is very profitable, but it is expensive to food this hen. Better than I cut off her head and save the expenses of feeding her. Then I'll get egg without any charge. The impersonalists accept shastras in this way. They think oh, this is not good. It is inconvenient. We shall cut this portion out. When Krishna says one should see me everywhere, the rascal Mayavadis think it is very palatable. But when he says give up everything and surrender to me, they disagree. They accept what is convenient and reject what is not. But the acharyas do not distort the shastras in this way. When Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna said, I accept whatever you have said. The absolute truth, full knowledge. The Vedanta Sutra is accepted as the supreme authority of all Vedic literature, and the Vedanta Sutra says Janmedi asya yatah. The absolute truth. Truth is the original source of everything. Janma means birth. There is no question of interpretation. The meaning is clear. Everything is in this material world comes out of the absolute truth. Just as this body comes out of the womb of the mother, Janmedi Asya Yata, beginning from the birth to the inhalation, everything is an emanation from the absolute truth. The absolute truth is that which is the source of everything, the reservoir of everything, and the maintainer of everything. What are the characteristics of the original source? Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 1, canto 1, 1 says, Janmadi asya yato naya uh, navayad itaratas karthasya Abhijinah Swarata. The original source of everything must be supremely cognizant of everything, both directly and indirectly. He is the supreme spirit. He knows everything because he is perfect. We are no, we are also a spirit, spiritual spark. And as soon as a spiritual spark takes the shelter in womb of her mother, it develops a body. That means the spiritual spark in the source of the body. Uh, Source of the body and its all its mechanism. Although it is by our energy that this body is produced, we do not know how our veins are created or how our bones are created. And because we do not know, we are not God. But Krishna knows. This is the characteristic of the absolute truth. He knows everything. Krishna confirmed this in Bhagavad Gita chapter 7th, verse 26. I know everything that has happened in the past, everything that is happening now, and everything that will happen in future.
Okay, I'm back.
Prabhuji, last para is remaining only.
ठीक है, पढ़ लीजिए.
Let me finish. Okay. We become cognizant of absolute truth by accepting knowledge from a spiritual master. But how has Krishna become perfectly cognizant? How is uh, uh, how is Krishna's knowledge so perfect? Because he is fully independent. Swarat, he does not have to learn anything from anyone. Some rascal may try to realize himself as God by taking knowledge from a Mayavadi, but Krishna is the God without taking knowledge from anyone. That is God. So yeah, Prabhuji, I am done. Let me stop sharing my screen. You can share your screen, Prabhuji, now.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Handling. Okay, we have Ashwin, Ashish, and Kunal. Only 3 people are remaining. No problem. Others have left. ठीक है. That is always the case. तो आपने पेरेंटल अफेक्शन पढ़ लिया, स्पिरिचुअल अफेक्शन एंड वैरायटी पढ़ लिया, स्पिरिचुअल
Absolute
पास्ट
truth.
टाइम्स पढ़ लिया, एब्सोल्यूट ट्रूथ फुल नॉलेज भी पढ़ लिया, सभी पढ़ ही लिया.
Yeah.
चलो, we will explain at least 2 today.
Yeah. Okay.
And then next 2 we will take in the next class.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or what is the agenda? Should we explain all these 4 things together in next class, and should we discuss something about some other important points or question and answers which you people may have? What is the proposal?
I think Prabhuji, let's continue in next session altogether. So strength would be more.
Yeah, then the flow will be there.
Yeah. Yeah.
People will also be there more. That is
So
very
I
good.
would say like next Saturday agenda should be this one.
Okay,
Not
yeah.
the lecture.
Not lecture. ठीक है.
Yeah.
We will continue this next Saturday also. No
Yeah.
problem. At this point of time, I will request Ashwin Kannan Prabhu, since you are still there in the call, with the question which you had, you can ask now.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Like 2 questions. First question is that day I had asked you, right, significance of Gayatri Mantra with respect to mantra meditation, Hare Krishna chanting. And the second question is
No, can you
what
repeat the
made
question now for the benefit of everybody? Can you repeat the question?
For the Kali Yuga, for liberation in Kali Yuga, it is said that Hare Krishna Mahamantra chanting is the highest and the best form of worship and prayer. But when a Brahmin boy is initiated with Janayu or the sacred thread, he's also taught about the Gayatri Mahamantra. He's also taught that is also equally significant, and that is also needed for spiritual advancement. So can you talk about the comparison or similarities or differences between the two? And the second one is
One question at a time.
what?
One question at a time we will take.
Yeah.
So now your voice is not very clear. I am just trying to see the question which you had written. Okay, so you are trying to understand the difference between Gayatri mantras and Hare Krishna Mahamantra.
Similarities, differences, anything.
Similarities and differences. Okay, very good. Good question. Some of you are Brahmanas, you have been given the Yagyopavit, this Brahminical thread. So naturally, when you get a Brahminical thread, you have some Sandhya Vandanam to do thrice a day minimum. These days, not many Brahmins are doing Sandhyam thrice a day. Maybe when someone reminds them, they do. So whatever is there, Sandhya, what is the importance of Sandhya Vandanam? What is the importance of Hare Krishna Mahamantra? How they are similar, how they are different. Very good. For doing Sandhya Vandanam or for chanting these Gayatris, first rule, you cannot verbally chant these mantras. They have to be chanted in the mind. First rule. Second rule, not everybody can chant. Only those who have been properly initiated by a bona fide spiritual master can chant. Third rule, Sandhyam, that means there is a specific time when you can chant these mantras. Fourth rule, very extremely high standard of cleanliness should be there. Ideally, before chanting your Gayatri, you should take bath also. So there has to be a specific time. There has to be a specific circumstance. There has to be some eligibility criteria to chant. Place. There has to be a specific place also. Ideally, you should be sitting in front of the altar to chant. So there is time, place, circumstances required to chant. So definitely not all can take benefit of this. However, a mantra becomes Maha Mantra when there is no time, place, and circumstance. It is so powerful on its own that at any time you chant, in any place you chant, in any circumstance you chant, it will give you 100% result. That is called Maha Mantra. So Hare Krishna Mahamantra is different from Gayatri in this way, that Hare Krishna Mahamantra can be chanted at any time. It can be chanted even in the bathroom. If you are having bath, you can chant. When you are sleeping in the bed, you can chant. When you are eating, you can chant. The traditional smart Brahmanas or the traditional Brahmanas, sometimes they are not able to understand this. How is it possible? Is it a joke that this Mahamantra can be chanted by anybody and at any place? Yes, it is. It is that powerful. Please understand, in Kali Yuga, nobody can approach Krishna. Nobody can approach Radha and Krishna. They're absolutely transcendental platform, that is. Until and unless one has no material desires and not even a small tinge of selfish intention, completely selfless then only they can absolute surrender when it is there, then only they can approach Radha and Krishna. That is not possible for anybody in Kali Yuga. However, There is a verse in Shikshashtakam, Nam Nam Akari Bahudha Nij Sarva Shaktis, Tatrar Pita Niyamita Smarane Nakalaha, Etadrishi Tava Kripa Bhagavan Mamapi, Durdaivam Midrisham Iha Janinanu. So Lord Chaitanya is saying, "O Krishna, you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda, and you have invested your transcendental potencies in these names. You are so merciful that you have made for fallen conditioned souls like us to easily approach you." Please take note. You are so merciful that you have made the fallen conditioned souls like us to easily approach you by chanting your holy name. But I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for chanting Hare Krishna. So this is the prayer which Lord Chaitanya is making. So how many of you are qualified to enter into the altar of, let's say, any ISKCON temple? You just go there and I'm a pujari, I want to come. They'll throw you out. Who are you? You have no training. You don't know the Pancharatri ki vidhis. You don't know the Shodasha Upcharas, how to do. You cannot enter. You cannot even touch the lotus feet of Krishna in any ISKCON temple. Or maybe if you go to Tirupati Balaji, you'll say, I want to enter. They'll throw you out. Govinda, Govinda, Jargandi, Jargandi. So it is not possible to associate with Krishna in that way. However, if anybody chants Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare, easily one can approach Krishna. Nama Chintamani Chaitanya, Nama Chintamani, what is that verse? Nama Chintamani Rasa, Nama Chintamani Krishna, Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha, Nitya Shuddho, one word I am forgetting, Abhinnatvam Nama Naminam. So last line is very important. Abhinnatvam Nama Naminam. There is no difference between the Nam and Nami. There is no difference between the name Krishna and the person Krishna. So when I'm actually chanting Hare Krishna, I'm actually associating with Krishna. With this realization, whether someone is a Brahmana or a Kshatriya or a Vaishya or a Shudra, a Brahmachari or a Vanaprasthi, Sannyasi or a Grihastha, whoever he is, if he's chanting Hare Krishna with this realization, they are in absolute touch with Krishna. They are in absolute association of Krishna. First difference. This is the difference between Gayatri. Gayatri requires time, place, circumstances, eligibility, qualification. But Hare Krishna Mahamantra is absolutely open, beyond all time, place, circumstances, eligibility. Anybody and everybody can chant. First difference. Second difference. One can go home back to Godhead simply by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Alone. This cannot be said about Gayatri. I repeat, one can go back home, back to Godhead, Golok Vrindavan, and sit with Krishna, dance with Krishna, play with Krishna, sing with Krishna, eat with Krishna, simply by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. But this cannot be said about Gayatri. So, the second difference. I'm in a class. Can you wait for 5 minutes? And third difference, Gayatri has to be chanted in the mind. And we all know how much our mind is uncontrolled, obstinate, strong, and a rascal, especially in Kali Yuga. But when somebody audibly chants Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, so that when they are chanting and when they are hearing, then by the sound vibration of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, the mind is brought into control. And when the mind comes into control, they get a higher taste. Then naturally, as you people said, they are able to overcome their bad habits and so many other things. So this generally, it is a recommendation that when you are chanting and mind is wandering here and there, this may be happening many times during Gayatri also. Mind may be wandering here and there. So wandering of mind cannot be cured by Gayatri. Wandering of mind can be only cured by Hare Krishna. If your mind is wandering, you start chanting louder, and then you see. Your mind will become fixed up. And only thing which it will hear is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. This is the third difference. Fourth difference. When you chant Gayatri, only you get the benefit. But when you chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, the mosquito which is next to you, the plant which is next to you, the lizard which is next to you, the cockroach which is next to you, the human beings who are next to you, the cow which is next to you, the dog which is next to you, everybody is getting the benefit by hearing Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. This fifth benefit is the best benefit. A person who is loudly chanting, audibly chanting Hare Krishna can liberate the whole universe. But a person mentally chanting Gayatri cannot do this. Okay? Have I answered your question, Ashwin Kannan Prabhu?
Yes, thank you, Hare Krishna.
What was your second question?
It is, am I audible again, or you told I was not audible last
No,
time?
now you're better.
So, what was the personal motivation for you to take up Krishna consciousness?
Okay.
That is one thing.
Ashwin
Because
Kannan Prabhu, do you mind if we discuss this question in the next session? Because as Kunal Prabhu said, very few people are here, and I don't want people to ask me this question.
yes, sure.
So let's do it in the next session.
Yes, definitely.
However,
yes, sure.
now I would like to point about book distribution. I would like to request all of you to engage in book distribution. If all of you can just try to distribute some books which Prabhupada has written, all of you will immediately feel a big improvement in your chanting. That is how mercy works. If you can distribute some books of Srila Prabhupada, just next day only you will feel that your chanting has become better. The taste which you are getting in reading Bhagavad Gita has improved. You have developed an intense hankering to remain in the association of devotees. You will immediately feel the need. That happiness which you are looking for life after life in various species, you will start experiencing that happiness if you engage in book distribution. For that purpose, I have a proposal. Today morning, I've been discussing this and coming up with this proposal. Give me 1 minute. So we have come up with a very nice option for all to buy and also distribute. We are calling it as the Saptarshi set. I will again share my screen. I'm showing you these things so that you can also take for yourself and then share with others also. Can you see this? This is called as the Saptarashi set. It contains 7 books: Science of Self-Realization, Krishna, Beyond Illusion and Doubt, Beginner's Guide to Krishna Consciousness, Sri Ishopanishad, Meditation, and Nectar of Instruction. And in Hindi also we have an equivalent set: Atma Sakshatkar, Krishna, Moha Tatha Sanshay Se Pare, Sarvottam Yoga Paddhati, Sri Ishopanishad, Upadeshamrit. So we have these 7 books. We are calling it as the Saptarashi set. And all these 7 books are available only in the month of marathon. After marathon, if you come and purchase, it will be very difficult, because we are getting it at a cheap rate from Bhaktivedanta Book Trust, which is the central press of ISKCON. We are getting it at a cheap rate. So all these 7 books, they come as a package for just 1,000 rupees. So I will request all of you to have these sets for yourself. I know all of you already have a Bhagavad Gita, but try to have these 7 books also. In the course of our discussion, we will be referring to these 7 books only. Of course, second chance is not there in this. Maybe you can add second chance, or maybe you can remove one book and add second chance, whatever. So I will request all of you to take this.
Prabhu, one question. I'm actually, I ordered Bhagavad Gita book in Hindi, okay, and the sloka over there were in Sanskrit, okay. So Prabhu, actually, when I was trying to, read the sloka from Bhagavad Gita, I am finding it very difficult to pronunciate it correctly, and somehow, I mean, whatever sloka I'm trying to read, reading it totally wrong. Though I'm reading the meaning of the sloka in Hindi, but I'm not able to read the sloka in actual pronunciation.
So what we will do next class, Abhaycharan Prabhu, please take it as a what can I say, agenda. First 10 minutes, we will recite some shlokas, so that 5 minutes or 5 minutes also, some 10 shlokas we will recite, so that all of us understand how to translate these shlokas or how to read these shlokas. I don't know with the Hindi one, but I think in there in English also. Towards the end, this is not Bhagavad Gita, this is some other book. But towards the end, if you go Ashish Rena Prabhu, there will be something called as a Sanskrit transliteration. One second, I'll just come in. I'll just 2 minutes, hang on here. So if you go to the end of the Bhagavad Gita, there is something called as Sanskrit transliteration. तो वहां पर लिखा हुआ है, it is very clearly that if the letter is like this, how to pronounce, if the letter is like this, how to pronounce, and things like that. So that can also help. And apart from that, when we will read together as a group, then you will come to know how to read particular words, or how to catch it, or how to break it, sandhi viched kaise karna hai while reading, and all that you will understand. So that is not very difficult. We'll take it up. But my request to all of you is that kindly take this, what can I say, Saptarshi set for yourself, and also try to distribute this Saptarshi set to others. What we are going to do, we will make a Razorpay link where it is very easy to pay, and the photos of these 7 books will be there. So you can take this link and you can share it with your friends, ask them to take on the occasion of Gita Jayanti, things like that. So even if a Razorpay link is not there, you always have our UPI ID, iskonwhitefield@yesbank.com. First, I think you people can take 1,000 rupees includes shipping charges. Like shipping is free of cost. We can simply ship it to you. So first you people can take, and then you can encourage your friends also to take. This is my request to all of you. This will help us in book marathon. We have taken a vrata of distributing 12,000 books. I don't know how we will do that, but slowly we want to do this. Okay? This is my request to all of you. Please take the Saptarashi set for yourself and then distribute this Saptarashi set to your friends. Any questions? Concluding questions, concluding remarks? Okay, then in that case, we will end today's session. Thank you very much for your time. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. The agenda for next session is explanation of the chapter 2 of Second Chance book, recitation of slokas, the pending question of how I came to Krishna consciousness by Chaitanya. I think he has left the call now. Ashwin Kannan Prabhu, not Chaitanya Sairam, Ashwin Kannan Prabhu. And apart from that, we'll discuss more about book distribution. I request all of you to become very active in book distribution, because if you will distribute one book, that will change someone's life. And even if that person reads one line from that book, your chanting and your reading and your meditation on Krishna is going to improve. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.